when you punch this young man in the mouth?
Him running around, I have to catch him and slaughter him.
Mike Tyson has never held back on his thoughts, and his latest comments on Jake Paul are no exception. In a recent interview, Mike made sure everyone is aware that he is not coming to the ring to play around. He feels the thirst to deliver a knockout, and in his words, Jake Paul stands no chance. While Jake Paul has gained popularity as a YouTuber turned boxer and proven his mettle with a solid winning record, he's now up against a true legend, and the stakes are higher than ever. Tyson, affectionately known as Iron Mike, is not only a boxing icon, but also one of the most feared punchers in boxing history.
Babe, but what if he knocks you out?
Ooh.
He sounds nervous.
Just look away.
However, fans and experts have expressed concerns about the matchup. Tyson, who hasn't fought professionally in over 2 decades, is returning to the ring against an opponent who's been active and focused on his boxing journey for the last 4 years. Tyson himself has admitted to facing some challenges, especially after a medical incident caused by an ulcer flare-up that forced a postponement of the fight from its original date in July.
One, man. So I have personally met and talked with Mike Tyson. The dude has a different switch, right?
Of course, Iron Mike.
Yeah, man, and that's the X factor where you could just see something switch in his brain. It's another level. Like, he's a killer. He's a killer. So if he brings that.
But for all the worries about Tyson's age and health, recent training footage shows that he's far from losing his edge. Known for his explosive power, Tyson has been training intensely and looks in impressive shape. In sparring, he managed to drop his sparring partner with a single punch and even split the lip of his trainer, reminders of his legendary strength.
He laughed because I was purposely doing this. You're taller than I know. I was trying to show him that he's little Mike.
When speaking to TalkSport, Tyson shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's boxing skills. His 5 words on Paul's abilities were simple but telling. He's a good little fighter. Though Tyson acknowledged Paul's talent, he also made it clear that his experience as a 10-fight boxer is, in his words, amateur by Tyson's standards.
Don't charge at me, Tyson.
And Tyson didn't stop there. He had some choice words that fans have already been discussing widely. He'll be running around. I have to catch him and slaughter him. Tyson's words, fierce and unfiltered, have left fans wondering if the younger, agile Paul will be able to withstand Tyson's famously powerful punches. For Tyson, it doesn't matter who stands across from him in the ring. Even if it were his own mother, they'd be in trouble if they stepped into the ring with him. His message to Jake Paul was clear: don't go in the ring if you don't want that problem. And that's the thing, Tyson is just relentless. Even Jake Paul has admitted the same when he saw Mike dropping his sparring partner. However, even in his intimidation, he is still showing the fans that he is confident of his chances against Mike. The training video, which showed Tyson dropping a sparring partner with a quick, brutal combination, has fueled anticipation for their upcoming match on November 15th. At 58, Tyson may be well past his competitive prime, but this training footage serves as a reminder that his power is very real, and in Paul's words, is the strongest he's ever been.
Nigga, he couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How you gonna knock me out? What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock those little guys. How you gonna knock?
For Paul, facing Tyson is a chance to prove himself against one of the most famous fighters in boxing history. Tyson, in contrast, has been preparing intensively, showing off physical readiness, a full training camp, and an unmistakable drive. While Paul acknowledges the challenge, he's also quick to emphasize that his own training and determination to outbox Tyson will help him go the distance, and, he hopes, secure a knockout. In an interview, Paul made it clear he's not just in this for the fight, but for a victory that he believes could cement his status in the boxing world. I will come alive in the moment and knock out one of the best to ever do it.
And against a guy that not as good as boxer as he is, and Mike Tyson knows how to throw a good punch, he knows how to break you down, so I'm more concerned about the other guy than Mike Tyson.
Paul understands that this fight will come with scrutiny. He's aware of the criticisms and anticipates that some fans may write off his victory if he wins by attributing Tyson's loss to age rather than skill. But for him, fighting Tyson is an honor. Tyson, a cultural and boxing icon, holds a special place in history as one of the most feared fighters of his generation. To step in there with someone of his nature is an honor and a dream come true. It's going to be a spectacle, Paul said, showing his respect for Tyson's legacy even as he prepares to face him. That respect, however, doesn't take away Paul's confidence. He insists that his strategy will involve unboxing Tyson, staying calm, and seizing opportunities when Tyson's age or endurance may catch up with him. Tyson's professional record holds a massive 88% knockout win rate, and his sparring partner's knockdown reminded fans why he's one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing history. Although Tyson isn't at his peak, his recent training clips serve as a warning to Paul, who will have to be cautious during those early exchanges when Tyson will be at his freshest and most powerful.
You don't think Tyson is a serious opponent for him?
Come on. 61 years. I saw him the other day. I love Tyson. I told him
He can punch.
Of course. He's got a puncher's chance the first 3 rounds. I'm a little scared of Tyson getting hurt after the 3rd round.
Right.
Jake Paul's a big boy. He's 26 years old.
The fight will consist of 8 2-minute rounds, a format that could benefit Tyson by allowing him to deliver bursts of power without enduring the same level of fatigue required in longer rounds. While this shorter format may be advantageous to Tyson, who can still explode with punches for short durations, Paul remains confident that his endurance and strategy will help him last through Tyson's initial waves. Paul's own conditioning could help him outlast Tyson, especially if he can avoid taking too many direct hits early on. Although the fight might ultimately favor Tyson's power, Paul sees an opportunity to neutralize that power with skillful movement and patience, dragging Tyson into deeper rounds where age could become a factor.
I'm gonna have to fight through adversity. I know I might even go to the canvas. I'm scared, don't get me wrong, but it's not about the fear stopping me. It's about going into it even though I am scared, and that's what true bravery is.
One of the conditions that made this fight possible is the choice of 14-ounce gloves, chosen to balance power with safety for both fighters. Veteran referee Richard Steele, however, sees this glove size as less of an advantage to Paul than some might think. That's still a small glove thinking about the power of Mike Tyson, Steele noted, warning that Tyson's punches, even with 14-ounce gloves, are devastating. He further added that given Tyson's years of experience and muscle memory, I don't see the guy going that distance with Tyson for 2 minutes. He can go all out.
Are you mad facing off against Iron Mike Tyson? I mean, he's fit. Sure, he's 100, but gee, he looks good.
Yeah, man, he's looking really, really good. I'm definitely a little bit crazy, and I'm definitely a little bit scared. You know, this is the toughest fight I've had to date against the most experienced opponent. It's at heavyweight, and Tyson's dropping people in sparring. He looks the best shape and the strongest he's ever been, is what his coaches are saying. And so
the gloves, meant to provide some level of protection, may not soften Tyson's power enough to prevent serious damage if Paul takes one of those trademark Tyson hooks head on. Steele's comments reflect a cautious outlook, noting that the shorter round time will allow Tyson to unleash his power more freely, potentially intensifying the danger for Paul. He's still dangerous, Steele said, voicing a concern for both fighters' safety, as any bout with Tyson, even now, carries the risk of significant injury. Even Mike Perry, the last man to get a feel of Paul's power, sees the same thing. Perry's insight comes from experience. He fought Paul in a glove match that ended in a 6th-round stoppage. Perry initially backed Paul to defeat Tyson, noting Paul's youth, conditioning, and team strategy as advantages. However, over time, Perry has shifted his stance, aligning more with Roy Jones Jr. As opinion that Tyson's legendary experience and strength might just give him the upper hand.
Wins, me or Mike Tyson?
I think you do. I think you're younger. I think you doing the right things as far as like what your team has you doing. It worked, and my little weird stuff wasn't able to, I wasn't able to add it up on you. I wasn't able to have you punch yourself out. I wasn't able to get you on the ropes where I could release a flurry.
After his bout with Paul, Perry described the difference between Paul's punches and the bare-knuckle blows he's accustomed to. In a video with Fight Hype, Perry explained that fighting with gloves alters the dynamics of power and precision. He noted that with the added weight and padding, Paul's punches had a different kind of impact compared to bare-knuckle boxing, where strikes land with raw force but require more hand protection. "It was hard to tell because of the weight. The weight was totally new to me," Perry commented. "When I hit people bare knuckle, it just works."
Just a quick message to the people who are complaining about the rules of me versus Mike Tyson. Some TikToker made a video making up all these fake rules. Me and Logan tag teaming him, us wearing headgear, all of this bullshit. If you believed that, you're a fucking idiot.
"The gloves," Perry said, "give a different kind of power. Perhaps not as raw as in bare knuckle, but impactful due to the added weight and protection." "His first one took me off my feet," Perry admitted, highlighting that Paul's power, especially with boxing gloves, is enough to catch even seasoned fighters by surprise. This detail added complexity to Perry's early prediction that Paul could potentially take down Tyson, who at 58 may not have the endurance or agility of his younger self. In the aftermath of the fight, Perry even joined Paul on his podcast, where he backed Paul's chances against Tyson, citing the younger fighter's preparation and conditioning. "I think you win. I think you're younger, and I think you're doing the right things as far as what your team has you doing," Perry said confidently, emphasizing the role of Paul's training camp and team strategy. Perry elaborated that during their fight he found it challenging to exploit weaknesses in Paul's style. "I wasn't able to add anything up on you. Couldn't get you on the ropes where I could release a flurry."
Yes, sir, that's the one.
Perry talked about how Paul's youth gave him the stamina and reflexes to avoid being cornered or exhausted, which he speculated could play a role in his fight against Tyson. Perry pointed out that Tyson's age could potentially work against him, limiting his ability to handle an opponent with Paul's endurance and speed. At the time, Perry seemed confident that Paul had the physical and strategic advantages needed to go up against a fighter with Tyson's pedigree.
Biggest fight. Yeah, the biggest ever.
Ever. It's on pace to be the biggest fight ever.
Yes, and we're involved.
We're involved, right?
We're involved. All those big shots, all the biggest athletes in the world. This is the biggest ever.
November 28th. Lit. Hey, we lit here. We lit at the Tyson Ranch.
However, Perry's perspective changed over time. A few months later, Perry spoke on the Overdogs podcast, where he sided with boxing legend Roy Jones Jr., who predicted Tyson would likely come out victorious. Perry now believes that Tyson's immense experience and instinctive boxing abilities give him an edge over Paul, a relative newcomer to the sport. "I think Mike too. I think Mike's gonna be it's like riding a bike for him," Perry said, suggesting that Tyson's years of ring knowledge would serve him well, even at an older age. Perry further commented on the mental game Tyson brings to the ring, recognizing his immense knowledge of boxing technique. He acknowledged that Tyson's confidence and control inside the ring are unparalleled, making him far more calculated than Paul's previous opponents. Perry admitted he's not going to feel overwhelmed to try and push the action. That's going to be interesting to see. This adjustment in Perry's view seems rooted in Tyson's deep understanding of boxing fundamentals and pacing, which could allow him to conserve energy, respond strategically, and capitalize on any missteps Paul might make.
Nice. Come on, punch him. Yeah.
In Perry's initial prediction, the focus was on Paul's physical condition and youthful agility. However, over time, Perry came to appreciate that Tyson's knowledge of the ring might give him an advantage over a younger but less experienced fighter like Paul. By aligning his views with those of a boxing icon like Roy Jones Jr., Perry emphasized the impact that a lifetime of experience and tactical acumen can have on a fight.
I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world, and I turn all my L's into W.
However, Freddie Roach, the renowned trainer who briefly worked with Mike Tyson at the end of his career, brings a rare perspective to Tyson's upcoming fight with Jake Paul. Roach, who stood in Tyson's corner for his shocking loss to British heavyweight Danny Williams, recently shared his thoughts on the legendary boxer's chances against Paul. Having first-hand experience of Tyson's power and temperament, Roach holds unique insights into what makes Tyson a formidable force even at 58, while also acknowledging the challenges that come with age and the decline in motivation Tyson experienced near the end of his career.
Coming up and, he's a younger, maybe stronger man. But no, I can't say stronger because Tyson's really strong. But the last two fights I trained Tyson with, he didn't do really that well at. And it was, I hope he does well because I do like him a lot.
Roach's time with Tyson was short but intense. He trained him for 2 fights, including the 2004 bout against Williams, where Tyson suffered a 4th-round knockout, signaling the start of his career's twilight. Roach shared with DAZN that working with Tyson was both thrilling and challenging. Mike's a great guy, and I did train him for a couple of fights before the end of his career, but his heart wasn't really in it at that time, Roach said, noting that Tyson's motivation had started to wane. For a fighter who once thrived on his ferocity and drive, this lack of passion made it difficult for Tyson to perform at his peak. Yet, Roach also pointed out the undeniable power Tyson still carried, even in his final fights. "Mike is a great puncher, he trains very hard," Roach commented. He recalled the experience of training with Tyson as both exciting and nerve-wracking, especially when catching Tyson's punches on the mitts. "Getting whacked by Mike Tyson with the right hook isn't my favorite spot, but I lived through it," Roach remarked, highlighting Tyson's formidable strength. Even with the diminished enthusiasm, Tyson's power remained almost unmatched, and Roach felt it firsthand. However, Roach observed that Tyson's physical conditioning in those years had its limitations. During their time working together, Tyson struggled to stay motivated beyond the early rounds.
Prune juice. It's Mike Tyson. Anything can happen. Jake could literally walk out without.
Roach noted, if he didn't knock you out in a couple of rounds, he'd get a torn meniscus in his knee or an injury somewhere here or there. Tyson, known for his quick finishes, found it difficult to go the distance in later years. Roach attributes some of this to Tyson's sporadic motivation, which may become a factor against a younger, energetic fighter like Jake Paul.
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Looking ahead to the upcoming showdown with Paul, Roach discussed Tyson's chances with KO Artist Sports. He expressed admiration for Tyson, describing him as a good friend who occasionally drops by Roach's gym to visit. When asked about Tyson's prospects against Paul, Roach was cautious but hopeful. "All of a sudden, this fight's coming up against a younger, maybe stronger man," Roach noted, acknowledging the potential edge Paul might have due to his age and consistent training. However, Roach was quick to clarify, "Well, I can't say stronger because Tyson's very strong." Even with the age gap, Roach believes Tyson's raw power is still formidable and capable of delivering a knockout blow if the opportunity arises.
Canelo, thank you. What about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? What do you think about that fight?
Roach's cautious optimism also stems from the concern that Tyson's conditioning may not be what it once was. Reflecting on Tyson's last 2 fights under his coaching, Roach admitted, "The last 2 fights I trained Tyson for, he didn't do that well." Though Tyson remains one of the most powerful punchers Roach has trained, the legendary coach recognizes that Tyson's fitness and mental focus may impact his performance against a younger opponent like Paul, who has proven himself capable and determined in the ring.
If Mike Tyson loses to Jake Paul, does it affect his legacy?
There is no possible chance in this universe or the parallel universe or metaverse that it is possible that Jake Paul will beat Mike Tyson. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Ultimately, Roach's insight paints a nuanced picture. On one hand, he respects Tyson's lasting power and boxing IQ, qualities that could serve Tyson well if he can control the fight's pace and avoid getting worn down by Paul's youthful energy. On the other hand, Roach is aware that Tyson's decline in motivation and endurance during his final professional bouts could pose real challenges. Roach, balancing his admiration for Tyson with the reality of age, said, "I hope he does well because he's a good friend of mine."
People who are out there saying we think Mike's too old for this fight, tell them what you think about that.
If you think I'm too old for this fight, you need to come tell me in my face.
Whoa.
This statement speaks to Roach's hope that Tyson's spirit and strength will shine through, even if the odds may not be entirely in his favor. Roach's perspective adds an intriguing layer to the conversation around this fight. He's seen Tyson in both his prime and his decline, and his cautious outlook reminds fans that while Tyson's power remains, stamina and motivation will be crucial. Tyson, at his best, was a near unstoppable force, but Roach has witnessed the toll that time can take on even the fiercest fighters.
Chronologically, yes, Mike Tyson will step into that ring as a 58-year-old man. But I can tell you this, biologically, he ain't no 58-year-old man.
As a close friend and former coach, Roach's hope for Tyson is that he can channel the legendary power and resilience that once defined him. However, his measured tone suggests he knows this will be no easy feat, especially against a younger and hungry competitor like Jake Paul. As the fight draws near, Mike Tyson's warning, "Run if you want to live," highlights his fierce determination, even at 58.
They haven't been training as long as me, consistent as me, and I'm just a different species of human being.
Tyson's recent sparring footage shows he still possesses the explosive power that once made him a champion. But, as trainer Freddie Roach noted, age and motivation are significant factors. For Tyson, this fight is more than just another match. It's a chance to prove he still has what it takes. A loss, especially by knockout, could tarnish his legacy, leading many to say he's just an old fighter now.
This question is for Jake. Obviously, Mike is one of the biggest hitters that the heavyweight division has ever seen. I just want to know, when you're thinking about his power, he looks very ferocious on Instagram, especially still. Do you feel like you'll be able to take Mike Tyson's power at this stage?
I know I will be able to. I'm a natural born heavy.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul views this fight as an opportunity to elevate his status in boxing. Defeating a legend like Tyson could transform him from a YouTuber into a serious athlete. This match is a test of skill and resilience for both fighters. Ultimately, it's not just about winning, it's a clash of two worlds. The legendary past of Tyson and the rising star of Paul. With Tyson's legacy on the line, this fight promises to be a thrilling spectacle, one that could change how we remember him forever. What's your take on this? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.